to the Book Bunch. My name is Sam. If you are new, I'd like to say a special welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for another video. I hope you enjoy this one as well. So today we are talking about The Rithmatist, which is another Brandon Sanderson book. This one is more for a younger audience, so it's more of a YA than his more adult fantasy books. So I am continually blown away and shocked at the same time by Brandon Sanderson, and just by the sheer diversity of his genres and his age ranges that he's able to write in, and it's all just excellent material. It continually shocks me that one person can have so much talent. So shout out to Brandon Sanderson. He is awesome. If you haven't read him, you definitely need to pick up some of his stuff because it's all good. So this book, The Rithmatist, I'm going to basically start by explaining the world a little bit to you guys, and then we'll go from there. So the world that it's set in, there is basically these people called Rithmatists, and then there's the normal people. So the Rithmatists are magically gifted people who have been blessed by this world's kind of deity called the Master, and he imbues specific people, very limited amount of people, with this ability to bring chalk drawings to life and give chalk kind of this power that it wouldn't otherwise have. So it can be used for good, and it obviously can be used for evil as well. And basically these people draw these different patterns to fight the evil, or to duel, or to do different things. And it's all based on maths and equations and different things, as well as drawing and your skill in drawing. Book is set in a school that has a mix of these Rithmatist students and normal students, and we follow the main character. His name is Joel. He is a student at this school, and he isn't one of the Rithmatists, but he becomes friends with one of the Rithmatists along the way, and he is really fascinated by how they work and what they can do and all of that kind of thing, because you basically find out that that's what him and his dad did growing up, was learn about them, and he kind of got this really strong passion for it. So his goal is to either find a way to become a Rithmatist outside of the standard way, or to basically be a scholar of their history and all of that kind of thing, and learn everything he can about it and then teach it. So that's kind of where we're at in the world. There is this war kind of going on in a place called Nebraska, which has this evil tower where all these chalklings, which are the little creatures that are made with chalk, there are wild ones that are evil, that are coming out of this evil tower in Nebraska, and they are attacking and killing people. And so there is an army that is set up there that is constantly trying to keep them at bay. And when the Rithmatists graduate, they go over to Nebraska and help with the fight. So that's kind of the setup of the story. And we follow Joel, who is a really interesting character. I really liked him as like a perspective point. I thought it was really quite cool. So he basically is the poorest student at this school because he goes to the most prestigious school, but he is actually a child of one of the cleaners, and his father has passed away in a tragic accident, and he worked at the school as well as a chalk maker. And because of that, the principal and everything let him have his schooling there to kind of pay respect to the fact that the dad was an employee there and the mum still is. So he doesn't really have very many friends. He's more of an acquaintance to everyone, but a friend of none. And he, is really desperate to learn everything he can about the Rithmatists, but the Rithmatists trying to stay to themselves, so they kind of block everybody else out. And so he's struggling to learn about them and be part of that, and he has to keep finding sneaky ways to join in on their lectures and different things like that. So that's the premise of the story. That's what happens at the beginning, is Joel is trying to sneak into these lectures to find out more about Rithmatist and learn everything he can. And he, throughout the story, becomes a research assistant for one of the professors because there is a killer who is hunting down these Rithmatist students that are at this university. And so him and this Rithmatist professor have been tasked with the job of trying to find out clues as to who is doing this, because it seems to be a Rithmatist that is doing these bad things. And yeah, it's a really interesting premise. He does end up becoming friends with this wild Rithmatist girl who's not very good at being a Rithmatist. She doesn't really want to be a Rithmatist. And so it's an interesting dynamic having one that's got it but is struggling with it, and one that doesn't have it and is struggling with that. So it's a really interesting premise. It's a really lot of fun. If you do have like teenage kids, or you like that age kind of range of reading, this is really good book. I think it gets better towards the end than it does at the start. It starts a little bit like, oh yeah, this is all right, but the end is so good that you can't put it down, and it's just so amazing, and it hits all the right spots. And I can't wait for the next one to come out. He does have a second one planned, so I'm hoping we don't have to wait too many years for that to come out. But yeah, it's a really good book, and it leaves in a place where you're not so desperate for the next one that you can't hold out. But it's a really good book, and I can't wait for the next one. So that is the Rithmatist, guys. I definitely recommend you guys to read it. It's a really cool book, and this is just the paperback edition. It's really cool because it's got these like diagrams to help you kind of understand what it is that they're drawing, and the different defense tactics and attack tactics and all of that kind of thing that are going on. But it's super interesting. It's a great book, and I definitely recommend it. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. Get on it, guys. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video.